video, I'm going to share with you guys some of the most powerful tips I use on my personal trading that allowed me to catch this type of multiple trades on a weekly basis. And I promise to you that after you finish watching this video and you use these tips on your trading, you will see massive results and obviously growth. So first thing first, what I want to start with before I even get into these trades is that you guys need to understand that the first principle of trading, regardless of whatever strategy you're using or doing, is that you need to start understanding the importance of building a narrative. So this is the tip number one for today. And obviously I'll tell you more, but what do I mean about building a narrative? Most and many traders that I came across, they always start with some specific concept. So they jump on YouTube, they start watching a lot of videos, they learn certain concept, like, I don't know, maybe order block, maybe fair value gap, maybe this, maybe that, ICT, I don't know, whatever they catch. And one thing they realize, and that's where thing goes wrong, is that say someone comes to you and they start telling you, oh, use this candle to make crazy risk to reward. So you get there, you watch the video about this whatever magic candle they're showing to you, and then you jump on the chart and you start just solely looking only for this specific candle, right? I'm sure most of you guys have done this, and if not, you definitely came across this type of situation, because once you look at these type of videos and you see actually in that video that, I don't know, some candle, whatever element they're showing is actually working, right? You backtest, you probably see some results, and next time you jump on the chart, you start feeling the power of this. So then you start applying this on your own trading, and the next thing you know, every time you jump on the chart, you try to take a trade just using this. But that's where a lot of people start burning out their account. They start blow up their account, because if trading was so simple, where you jump on YouTube, you see a video and you take this concept here and you start making money, someone use this concept here, start making money, then trading will be the most easiest job on the planet. But that's not the case. What you should be actually doing instead is that, okay, let's say a trader A is making a video about this candle. Then maybe there is a trader B that is making a video about some crazy indicator, right? Now, I don't personally use any indicator, never used it. But what I'm saying is that then you move on and there is a trader C that comes to you and, I don't know, they shows you some other combination of indicators plus candle, right? So now you have a combo trading strategy that works like magic. Well, guess what? Instead of taking one and each and start using just that for your trading, you need to combine all of this. And by combining all of these, two things will happen. First is that you'll realize, hold on, so let me just go down. First, you will realize and you'll understand whether this approach in here can be actually used in conjunction with this one, or if applying this with this can actually create a strong combo for this one over here. So basically, two things are, it can either this clash with this one, so you can have potentially wrong situation where two concepts are not aligning properly, or the second one where you have started from this trader, then you started from this one, and then this one, and now putting all these things together, you see that something very powerful is coming out of it. And that one here is just the beginning of developing a narrative. Because now, when you go on a chart, you don't jump with only one concept that you learn, but you have a confluence of event that allows you to understand with high probability what is actually happening on the chart. Now, I'm going to show you an example and I'll explain it to you based on the way. Hold on, let me just do this one over here. And then you guys can start understanding how we managed to get those type of trades. We use obviously our own concept inside the community, but check this out. Let's go to GJ. So GJ for a very long term, well, I wouldn't say very long term, but if you take this price range in here, right, what can you see? Well, price is moving upwards. We can all see that, okay? By the way, this is another important thing that I want to share. This is the tips number 2, objectivity. What do you mean by objectivity? You don't want to ever take a concept out there. Like you go to YouTube, you see a lot of videos. You don't want to take a concept that has a different point of view from different trader. So let me show you this so you can understand better my explanation. Is that, again, going back to the candle, right? Someone is telling you something about this specific candle. Like they're telling you, oh, this is a secret strategy. With this candle, you're going to go whatever. Then trader B comes in and they're going to be like, but you know, this candle is okay, but I don't know, maybe if you just trade the wick, that's even better. Then you got another trader and you're gonna be like, oh no, if you trade this, that's better. Never ever find yourself in that type of situation. If you ever come across a concept where someone is telling you, oh, look, this is what happens, but then other people start having different opinion, different point of view, stay away from it. The reason why I'm saying this is because at that point, things start becoming very, very subjective. Now, I'll show you personally something very objective that even if you don't understand the way I use it, I see it, you will anyway see the same exact thing that I see on the chart. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but hold on with me because trust me, it's mind blowing. Okay, so that's the situation. So this is something that you guys need to keep in your mind, is that you need to find always objectivity behind whatever concept you're looking for or you're trying to get yourself into. That is absolutely crucial. I don't know why I can remove this one. Hold on, bear with me. Okay, cool. So now let's get back to this one. Now, talking about objectivity, let me show you this. We got price going higher, crazy stuff, right? Momentum pumping, it's going higher, it's going higher, it's going higher. And then if you notice something very valuable, is that if you look across these trades, most of these trades are actually sell. They are not even buys. Like, and now this is where I'm taking you towards the narrative. Why? Because when we started looking price pumping like this, we just waited to understand what type of reaction price will do at certain specific level. Now, once you get in here, and now look at the objectivity, yeah, that's a powerful thing. Once you get in here, you can clearly see that price for the first time ever, it did something unique, which is this massive drop in here, right? Now, this drop is not something I'm coming to you and saying, oh, look, there is something magic. No, you can see it exactly the way I can see it. Even if you don't understand what exactly I use as my strategy, you can see it because it's there right in front of our eyes, right? So this is objective for me. This is objectivity because I can see something tangible on the chart that has a unique interpretation, right? So this drop, we never had it before. If one thing, we just had price pumping to the top side. So what exactly is going on and why this matters so much to us? Because when price started dropping like this, right, and we had this crazy momentum, we waited and we wanted to understand if this intention was actually real. Okay, so now this is first part of my confluence, understanding the strength, understanding who is in control, right? So I can see that right at this level, something happened to the left, sellers started taking control, but that alone is not enough. Why? Because I need more. Now that I had one confluence right here, so I'm going to be marking this down here, right? I have one confluence. Now, this is the beginning of my narrative. I wait and I see that actually buyers from here started pushing strongly to the top side. We can all see that, right? So that's not good. Why is not good? Because if I'm looking for a sell, I don't want to see buyers taking control to the top side because there's a lot of momentum that is actually trying to overcome the sellers again. So this could easily keep going higher. But the next thing you know is that price gets in here. Right, look at this. Price gets in here, tap into the supply, and drops again. Okay, now the narrative is taking another step, right? So it's like a stairs. Every single time that you're on the chart, look, you get this, 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 and this. Okay, look. So right now we start in here. Then we can see the sellers are taking control again. Fine. There we go. The second step, we're going up. Now, look at this. So let me just write down this one. Fine, 2. And look at this. At this level, buyers are no longer stronger. They are not strong. They're losing momentum. Look at the way price pushed away from here. Look at here. It's so crazy slow, right? And again, they drop. They try one more time, but they fail to break the supply. And the next thing you know, they started dropping. The buyers kicks in the market once again, but this time the momentum is not dead. Is even the worst of the worst out of the 3 cases we had up in here. So we had a 1, 2, and 3. You see how the narrative is unfolding and is developing over here, right? We can visually see that. Even if this is something that you have never ever heard about or ever watched about, right? You can see with me how the narrative is developing here. So how I started developing my narrative. So now at this point, all I need is that sellers take control over buyer. And you guys can see actually there's a demand zone that has been taken out. Once this demand zone gets taken out, right, and then I mark my PY, which was this yellow box, all I need, right, all I need is clear confirmation of what buyer is going to be doing and how I can get in with the sellers. Because at this level, at this point, it was absolutely clean. The sellers were in control. Okay. And then the next thing you know, when price gets to my PY, same story in a smaller time frame, and off we go. Boom, there is a trade. Now, of course, this trade is not just based on what I shared so far with you, because what I shared so far with you is a bit of the narrative, like the narrative development, right? So we used one, confirmation here; two, when we started saying buyers are losing momentum; three, when sellers have literally taken control beyond the demand zone, right? So the fourth and fifth on the other conference we used are in here. And by the way, just so you guys know, if I'm wondering, okay, where all these trades are coming from, if they're real or not, trust me, all these move that you see with arrows, they are real 100%. And I did all these forecasts for every single trade in front of my community. And I literally got the proof on my Telegram. So before you guys saying, oh yeah, you're doing this hand side, or you're doing this fake, this and that. No, I don't do anything hand side and fake. I provide daily analysis forecast for my community every single day. Live forecast, like literally raw live forecast for the day after. And this is just in one pair. I don't want to even show you the other crazy stuff we do on other pairs. Okay, so yeah, if you guys want to know more about it, look, the link is bio, but that's a little up to you. Right now, I only got 10 places left. So yeah, just if you're curious, the link is somewhere in the bio. But going back to this one, okay, so all I'm saying is that before I even pull the trigger, you guys see there is no trade in here. Okay, there is no trade in between here. There is no trade, and that's something that a lot of people fail to understand. And this is the third tips I'm giving to you today, which is learn to be patient. And what I mean by patient, hold on, before you're running away. Oh, you're saying the same as other trader. Be patient, be patient. No, listen. You need to understand this. Why people say you have to be patient. That's why people fail to understand. If I don't explain it to you, what does it even mean to be patient, right? You will not understand the game, how it works. In order for you to be patient, and why patient, every time they say you have to be patient, you need to understand that if you get on the chart, like you see the way I have developed from this end to all the way this end, a specific narrative, right? You need to understand that if I jump on the chart every single day in here, in here, in here, this narrative development that allowed me to take this trade, okay, will not be happening every single day. Okay, so if you become impatient and you start jumping on the chart and taking any trade you see because you studied one concept, that will not help you out, because whatever concept you use, it will require its own timing and development. So let me say that again. Whatever strategy you're using, whether it's support resistance, right? Whether it's, I don't know, smart money concept, whatever you name it, whatever you call it, in order for you to have the best of this, you will not get this every single day. You need to wait for the right exact timing and momentum, right? And how do you do it? Understanding the prior narrative development. Okay, so for example, when price started going higher like crazy over here, right, we did not look, we were actually looking for buys. Like, look, you see there was actually a buy here. We're looking for buys in here, right? What else? Yeah, we couldn't take any buy, but if you see, there is no sell, there are no sellers in here, right? We do trade sells as well based on the same narrative we use for buys, right? But there is nothing. There is no seller. Why? Because there wasn't any narrative here to the left that allowed us to understand that we are about to be ready to take any sell. So we didn't take any sell. We just waited. But when seller kicked in and things started clicking on, right, narrative and all of that, look at the way, right? If you guys want, I can give you even the video forecast that I made about these trades, or even the before and after, whatever, from the communities. You guys can see like how I literally explain them, the logic behind every single of this move, right? There's a whole breakdown that I gave it to them about this price narrative. So yeah, you can drop it somewhere in the comment section if you want to see the video or whatever. I'll give it to you, no worry. Now, what happened afterwards is that same stuff. Price, right? At this point, I mean, look, so far when price came in here, we had price coming here, reaction away, price coming here, reaction away. So far there was a battle going on, up and down, up and down, up and down. But when price left the zone, okay, we are done. Now it was clear that we're gonna just short here, and then obviously you need to have a target. That's another very, very important thing. Whenever you're engaging, right? Another tip, and that's part of your confluence. Whenever you're engaging in a trade and you're taking a trade, another tips, so tips number 4, right? You have to always make sure that your target is already established. Do not make the mistake of saying, oh, I'm taking this, right? And maybe there's a liquidity here, or maybe there's equivalence in here, or maybe there's an imbalance here, maybe here. No, your target has to be already pre-established way before than anything. It has to be part of your plan, rules, data, whatever you want to call it, of your trading plan. That is a must. Okay. Now, our targets were here, but along the way, we shorted. Obviously, this trade could have been easy 1 to 20, 25, but we don't do that. We have a very specific risk management that we use along the way towards our target, right in here, right? And then you can see once price got in the target, we started looking for buys, then sell again, and then we waited. And similar stuff. Look, look, look. This is crazy. Then you guys can see how crazy everything is. So now, if you have understood everything explained to you so far on the left, look at this, right? It's crazy how repetitive market is. Boom. Why do you guys think I got selling here? I'm pretty sure that if you managed to watch the video all the way here right now, so far, just based on what I told you, you should be already able to understand the reasoning behind these trades. Because it's exactly the same as we did right in here. And this time we have a very strong confluence. What is that confluence? Very strong reference is this major candle right in there. Ladies and gentlemen, look at the power of fractal nature in the market, and most importantly, how important it is for you to understand buyers versus sellers. It is the most mind-blowing things I ever mastered in my trading journey. And look at this, right? You can see all the arrows are just pointing down. I never looked any buy along the way in here, right? And a lot of people are looking for buys, buys, buys. We're just looking for shorts, okay? And the same stuff drops in here. I start monitoring buyers, sellers, boom. At this point, sellers take control, boom, sellers take more control, buyer losing power, we short it again. Of course, it's not that this is the only two things we use. Again, we have other confluence, other stuff that we use. I explain inside the community and I also in the mentorship. But just to give you an understanding, is that when you know how to build a narrative and when you know how to create the cluster of narrative together and start putting things together, you start becoming patient. And when you become patient, you know the value of you being patient. Why is important? Because you want to pull the trigger right exactly as the right narrative. Whenever you pull the trigger, you need to make sure that you're triggering on the right exact narrative. And there you go. That's how you take this kind of trades. And again, I'm not saying that you're not going to take losses. Yes, we do take losses as well. I think there were a couple of losses, not here, maybe somewhere around here. Look, so same stuff. Again, sellers comes in, demand kicks in, and we get in buy, we get in buy, we get in buy, we get in buy. Like, it's crazy stuff. Here we couldn't take anything, even though we were right. Why? Because of the timing. That's another thing that we use a lot in our community. So I'm not going to explain this too much now in here, but look, it's crazy stuff. Okay. So all the time, every time moving forward, guys, make sure that you always build a narrative. You always have confluence of event, and most importantly, do not stick never ever to only just one concept. And if you guys want to know more about this kind of stuff, I'd suggest you guys to subscribe and join my free live session that I do on TikTok almost every week, whenever I got time. And trust me, you can learn a lot. You can ask me any type of question you want. Don't worry, it's for free, so you have nothing to lose. You can just enjoy, chill out with me, and ask me as many questions as you want to improve your trading journey. This being said, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, this breakdown. I'll see you to the next one.